DJI has just leveled up the entry-level camera drone market with the brand new Lito series. So we have two new drones, the more budget-friendly Lito 1 and then the slightly more premium option, the Lito X1. Now the Lito series is going to be taking over from the original Mini series, not the Mini Pro series, the Mini series, like the Mini 4K, the Mini 3, those more budget drones, they're not going to continue anymore. That series is now going to be the Lito series. And this series of drones is designed to be lightweight, affordable, and beginner friendly. Now this takes me back to when I first started flying drones a long time ago with my DJI Mini 2. That was in a similar sort of bracket to what these are now. It sort of gets you in the door, it's a more budget-friendly option. I didn't have the budget to go out and buy the Mini 3 Pro at the time, so the Mini 2 was a more budget option, which is exactly the same as what these new Lito drones are there to fill the gap of. I was making travel videos, and I wanted to elevate my videos a bit by adding some drone footage to that, and getting that was just a great move. It allowed me to take things to new levels and introduce drone footage into my videos. And that's what these drones are hopefully going to do for you if you want to start flying drones. So a quick disclaimer before we go any further, DJI did send me these drones out for free for the purpose of making this video. I've not been paid in any way for this. This is not a sponsored video. So let's get into a little bit more about the new Lito series. So like I said, we have two new models here. We've got the Lito 1 and the Lito X1. So we'll start first of all with the Lito 1, which is a slightly more budget-friendly option, but it is still jam-packed full of features. It's got full omnidirectional obstacle avoidance, active track, and everything you need to get up in the air and start flying with confidence. But then if we take a look at the Lito X1, this is a bit more of a premium option in the Lito series. It's got a slightly better camera. It's got things like the D-Log-M color profile if you want to take your color grading and sort of get into that and take things to the next level that way. It's also got slightly better obstacle avoidance because it's got LIDAR sensors on the front here to help with low light obstacle avoidance. And things like this just make it a slightly more premium option, but it's still in this budget category. Both of these drones also feature DJI's incredibly reliable transmission system, boasting up to 15 kilometers of range in optimal conditions. Now do always follow the local rules and regulations of flying where you are, and that's going to be sort of maintaining visual line of sight and things like that. Both of these drones are also packed with a lot of the DJI safety features that we've come to know and love, things like return to home. So if you do lose signal, the drone can automatically fly all the way back to the home point and make a nice safe landing. So what's new to the Lito series of drones that we haven't seen previously in the more budget mini line of drones? Now I'm not talking Mini Pro here, I'm talking minis like Mini 3, Mini 4K and things like that. So the very first big difference is that we now have omnidirectional obstacle avoidance in the Lito series. And that means that as you're flying around, the drone can see everything around it and it can make choices on how to avoid any potential obstacles that it's coming across. You can have it set to stop if it sees an obstacle, or you can change this to bypass so that when it sees an obstacle, it can make a nice safe flying route around the obstacle and continue flying in the sort of general direction that you were before. So it's actually really nice to see full omnidirectional obstacle avoidance come to the really budget end of the DJI series. It's a very helpful feature for beginners getting into drones and definitely one that's welcome in the market. Now obstacle avoidance is very good, but it can't see things like thin branches or electrical wires like you see here. And this is one of the main areas where I see beginners tripping up. They don't fully understand the limitations of the systems, and also just bear in mind that obstacle avoidance will be deactivated if you're flying in sport mode. But if you fly with these things in mind, you should have a nice, successful experience. Both of these drones also have the Vision Assist feature, where you can tap on the icon in the bottom left of the screen and you can actually see, depending on which direction you're moving, sort of the image readout coming out of there from the obstacle avoidance cameras here. Now it's not an amazing picture, but it can help you to just sort of see if there's anything coming up in the direction that you're flying in. Now, like I mentioned earlier, the Lito X1, which is the more premium option, also has LIDAR. Now, what LIDAR is, it's these sensors here on the very front of the drone. Now, on the Lito 1, these are just sort of air vent grills, but on this one, we have LIDAR sensors. And what that does is it really helps with obstacle avoidance at nighttime. Because at nighttime, these obstacle avoidance cameras here on the top and bottom, they can't see very well, but LIDAR uses sort of light pulses and things to help detect obstacles that way. So even if you're flying at nighttime, you will still have obstacle avoidance there from the front direction when you're flying with the Lito X1. You don't have this on the Lito 1 that just has regular obstacle avoidance without LIDAR. Now, one of the big advantages of having full obstacle avoidance on both of these drones here is that that also allows us now to have full active track for both of these drones, which is something that we haven't yet previously seen on the more budget end of things. So we now have the full active track system with spotlight, POI, active track with the 360 wheel where you can drag and choose where you want the drone to follow you from, and it works fantastic. I was testing active track on both of these drones. They both performed really well. They were able to track me up to just over 40 kilometers an hour. In this clip, I was doing around 42 kilometers an hour, and following from the front is generally where the drone tends to struggle mostly for speed, and it had no issues tracking me at this speed. I also put it in a more of a tricky situation where there was an obstacle going to be in its path, and it managed to avoid the obstacle with no issues whatsoever. So that's a really nice thing to see on these two drones, the active track and the fact that they're both working nicely, and they've got quite a big performance envelope. So if you're walking, cycling, on your motorbike, or you're driving sort of slowly, this should have no issues doing tracking on you. And when I was doing my testing, I saw basically the same performance on the X1 as the Lito one. Now, one of the best features that I think beginners are going to like when it comes to the tracking side of things is going to be the spotlight mode. So all you have to do there is draw a box around your subject, whether that's you, something that you want to film, and then you can just manipulate the control sticks on the drone, and the drone is then going to move around whilst keeping that subject in the same place on the screen. So it takes a lot of having to get that sort of really precise control inputs there, managing everything straight off the bat, and it allows you to just capture some nice shots with relative ease. And spotlight mode is a feature that I know a lot of people use, and it's great to see that it's on this Lito series. And we also have things like the DJI Quickshots on here with droney, rocket, all of that good stuff. Really nice to get some simple, easy shots when you're just learning to fly these drones. And you also have master shots and things like that. So there's lots of little things to explore here to get you started and make that learning process a little bit easier. Now, something that I always recommend to people when buying DJI drones is to also pick up DJI's Care Refresh if it's available in your area. This is like DJI's own insurance policy. So if you have an accident, you crash, you break your drone, you can just pay a lower one-off fee, and then you can send the drone off. They'll send you a repaired or a new one out, and it's just a sort of insurance policy. It gives you a lot of peace of mind too, so you're not worrying so much that you're going to crash and lose all of your investment. You just pay a smaller fee and you get a nice new drone ready to go. Okay, now let's move on to talking about cameras and the camera features and things in this department. So the Lito 1 has a 1/2 inch camera sensor. Now this is a little bit smaller than the Lito X1, which has a 1/1.3 inch camera sensor. Now what a bigger camera sensor does is it gives you generally better performance, better dynamic range, and better performance in low light situations. Now the camera on the Lito 1 looks to me to be very similar in quality to what I saw in the DJI Neo 2. So it is a good little camera. It can still get really nice footage, and when you're starting out, this camera is more than good enough to give you nice footage for social media, all that kind of stuff. My Mini 2 had a worse camera than this thing, and I still managed to get some really nice footage out of that. But if you do want to step up to get a slightly better camera, then you're going to want to go with the Lito X1. You're going to pay a little bit more money, but you're going to get a better camera overall. So we've got that larger camera sensor here, that 1/1.3 inch camera, which is going to give you better low light performance, a better image overall. The image coming out of this to me looks very, very similar to the image that we saw out of the DJI Mini 4 Pro. Now that is only the previous generation of the Mini Pro line of drones, and that was a phenomenal camera. It looked great in loads of situations, and DJI is actually saying that this camera here actually has better nighttime performance than the Mini 4 Pro. So we're getting a really nice camera on here. And another benefit of this camera is we get access to the D-Log-M color profile. This allows you to record your image in a more flat color profile, which can help to preserve highlight detail, shadow detail, and it's also a 10-bit profile, which means it captures more color detail in the overall image. What this allows you to do is just capture a better quality image. You can manipulate the image more in post-production to do color grading, loads of different things like that. The footage you're seeing on the screen now is raw D-Log-M, and then I'm going to apply one of my cinematic LUTs to it in order to transform that into beautiful, full color cinematic footage, and it is ready to go. Now I do have a wide range of LUTs for D-Log-M drone footage, and I will leave those linked in the video description. Now something that we are sacrificing here on the Lito lineup versus like the Mini Pro lineup is that these cameras don't support full true vertical shooting mode, so they can't physically rotate to use the full camera in vertical. They do, however, offer a vertical mode, which is a slightly lower quality, so 2.7K on both cameras, and it sort of gives you a crop there on the screen so you can see exactly what's being filmed. And then when you go to take that footage, it's going to be vertical, ready to go straight onto social media. And 2.7K normally is more than good enough for Instagram or Facebook and all that kind of stuff. So you can still get vertical footage, but it is not a true camera turning vertical image. And when it comes to frame rates and resolutions, both of these drones can shoot up to 4K at 100 frames per second. Now I'm going to show you some footage on the screen now of shots that I captured using both of these drones, just so you can have a look and do a bit of a side-by-side comparison and see what you think for yourself. Now, if you're new to flying drones and you want to learn how to capture footage like what I've just shown you, I do have a beginner to advanced drone videography course which can teach you everything you need to be a confident drone pilot who can capture footage like you've just seen, and I will leave that linked in the video description. And I also have a completely free weekly newsletter that gives you the latest drone news, hot tips, and a little bit of a sneak peek into what's coming up in future videos, and I will also leave that linked in the video description. Okay, so you can see from that video footage that both of these drones are able to produce some nice footage, especially the Lito X1 with its slightly better camera. And they can also both take up to 48 megapixel photos in JPEG and RAW. So JPEG gives you a photo that's ready to go straight away, where RAW is a slightly more detailed picture which allows you to do a bit more editing with that picture if that's what you want to do. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is going to be battery life and flight time. Now, when it comes to the Lito series, there's two different batteries that you can get. There's the standard flight battery, which is going to keep these drones under 250 grams. And there is an extended flight battery, which is going to give you more flight time, but also make the drone heavier, pushing it over that 250 gram limit, which in some countries can give you more restrictions on how and where you can fly. So I know a lot of people do like keeping their drones sub 250. And in order to achieve that, you're going to want to use the standard flight battery. Now, DJI is saying we get up to 36 minutes of flight time here. In my testing, I've actually been getting quite decent flight time, around 27 to 31 minutes of flight time from both of these guys on the standard batteries. So more than enough flight time there. And those extended batteries claiming up to 52 minutes of flight times, but I haven't had any experience using those batteries, so I can't comment on their real world actual flight time. When it comes to batteries and combos and things, I always recommend people get the Fly More combos. That's going to give you an extra 2 batteries, so 3 batteries in total, the battery charging hub, and also the Fly More bag and a few different things like that. It just means that you've got more batteries so you can be sure that you've got enough flight time for a full day of filming. And also that bag is really handy just to keep everything together. And with the battery charging hub, you also get the ability for parallel charging, which is not something that we had on previous sort of budget mini drones. And what parallel charging means is that when you put all 3 batteries into the hub, all 3 of them will charge at the same time. Where previously on the more budget end, it would charge in series. So that would mean one battery charges, then the next one, then the next one. But with these, now we have parallel charging, so they can all charge at the same time. It's just going to help you to get back in the air even faster. And it's nice to see parallel charging come down to the Lito series. One of the other benefits of a lightweight drone is the fact that they're generally a lot quieter. And these 2 drones are both very quiet drones. Once you've flown them around 30 or 40 meters away, you can barely hear them. So they're very non-disruptive, unlike bigger drones or like the Neo series, which have a slightly more harsh noise. These ones, super quiet, super discreet. And if that's what you're looking for, then the Lito series is definitely getting a thumbs up in that department. One of the features that I didn't expect to see on the Lito series that we've seen on recent higher end DJI drones is the auto power on. So when you unfold the right rear arm, the drone automatically turns on, and it just helps to speed that process of getting the drone up in the air. You don't have to unpack it, then power it up. It just turns on automatically as you unfold the legs, and you can get straight up and capturing footage nice and quickly. So the next thing you're going to want to bear in mind between these 2 drones is the onboard storage. So the Lito 1 has no internal storage, so you need to use an SD card. Most of us, when we fly, we're always using an SD card anyway. However, the Lito X1 does have 42 gigabytes of onboard storage. So if you fill up your SD card or you forget to take it, you can still record some footage on the X1 with that internal storage. Whereas if you forget your SD card with the Lito 1, then you're going to be a little bit stuck. So that's also another benefit there of the X1 versus the One. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is going to be controller options. So both of these drones are compatible with both the RC-N3 and the RC2 controller. However, there are some differences here when it comes to packages that you can actually buy. So if you're buying the Lito 1, the only option you have is to buy that with the RC-N3 controller. If you already have an RC2 or you want to upgrade to an RC2, you can buy this separately. However, there are currently no combo options where you can buy it with the RC2. The difference here with the Lito X1, which is again the more premium version, is that you can buy that with either the RC-N3 or the RC2 controller, which is the one with a screen, and you can buy these lots of different combo options. Personally, I always recommend, if you can, stretch to the RC2 controller. We've got that built-in screen, so it keeps your phone free for other things. But if you are on a bit of a tighter budget, there's no issue here with going with the RC-N3. Just know that you will need to use your phone as that extra screen, and it's just not quite as nice of a controller as the RC2. The gimbals here are a bit nicer. We've got a few more programmable buttons and things, but both of these controllers are fine options, just depending on your budget. Something else that I was also really happy to see is that both of these drones support cruise control. Now, cruise control is one of my favorite features across all DJI drones. It just makes it so easy to capture nice cinematic footage. You can lock in controls. In my opinion, it's one of the most underrated, most powerful features of DJI drones, and I am so happy to see that they've put it on the Lito series. So all in all, a couple of really nice new beginner drones here from DJI, and it's interesting to think how features like that omnidirectional obstacle avoidance were sort of a luxury only just a couple of years ago, and they're now just a basic feature here on even the most budget-friendly drones. Now, if it was my personal choice, I would go with the Lito X1, that slightly better camera and that additional LIDAR obstacle sensing on the front. Just make it a little bit of a more attractive option for me, and I do hope that in the future we do see some ND filters for the X1 in particularly, because this is a very capable camera, and I think ND filters would just help to give us more control and get even nicer footage. So a massive thank you to the guys at DJI for sending these out for me to try out. If you have enjoyed this video, do me a favor and hit the like button down below. Subscribe for more content like this in the future. I'll leave links to everything that I've mentioned throughout this video in the video description. Thank you so much for watching. Have an amazing rest of your day, and as always, I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.